You can join us live for our next BookFunnel webinar. Check out the link in the description for more details. We hope to see you there.
We are going to be bringing some special guests in. We're also going to be answering your questions. If you have BookFunnel related questions, if you've got questions about Author Nation or anything like that, we're going to be doing that here too. And we're going to be absolutely. We're also going to be having people probably stopping by and saying hi to us as we're here on the live stream too. And we'll have to. We're used to it. You'll be used to it.
Okay.
But yes, any questions you have about BookFunnel, we're here to answer for you. Hopefully you guys can hear me pretty well. I'm trying to project my voice as well as I can. It's a little loud right now. It should quiet down here in a few minutes. But Kelly, it's Author Nation. Give us your take on Author Nation here so far.
Oh, it's been great. There's been so many people coming by the booth and saying hi and talking about all the different features. And a few people that don't know quite what we do yet. So we're working with that. And it's been really amazing to meet people in person and say hi.
Yeah.
And get to be with these.
Yes. No. So our team, for those of you who don't know, the BookFunnel team, we're from all over the place. Most of us are in Texas. I'm from Iowa.
Nevada.
Kelly's from Nevada. So we're a little all over the place. We get the chance to meet each other in person here at Author Nation once a year. And it's great. We've gotten to meet a lot of BookFunnel users and authors as well. So it's been great to chat with them and get to hear from them about how they're using BookFunnel, but also what they want to get out of BookFunnel, in addition to what they're already doing, getting more out of the service. That's kind of our goal here. So it's a fun time. It's a fun time for everybody. We're really enjoying it. We've gotten to also highlight one of our new features, which is digital ebook signing. I know we've done a couple webinars on that. We've talked about it in a few other contexts. If you haven't heard about digital ebook signing, it is as cool as it sounds. It is a wonderful feature. It's still in beta. We're still working on some kinks and that sort of thing, but it allows you to sign ebooks, customize individualized ebooks for your readers and deliver them by email. And so you have a lot of creative control with the feature. You get the opportunity to customize some things with it. It's a lot of fun. And we're showing that off here. If you're not here at Author Nation, of course, we do have a couple webinars on it. If you go to the YouTube channel, you can find them there and check it out and see what the feature's all about. But I will say, if you're on Zoom, if you're on Facebook watching us, either way, hello again. If you just came in to the live stream, if you have any questions, go ahead and put those in the chat at any time, whether you're on Zoom or on Facebook. We will be answering those questions live for you guys. We'll be on here for about an hour or so. We're going to be bringing on some special guests here in just a minute. We're going to have Sean Platt on here shortly. Katie Cross is going to be joining us. She promised to join us. Hopefully she did. Hopefully it works out. And Lydia Sherrer. Those are actually a couple authors who actually sell their books directly through their own online stores using BookFunnel to fulfill it. So Kelly, you've gotten to talk to a lot of authors here at Author Nation already. I know I've talked to a whole bunch of authors. What's the number one thing that you've seen people are coming to us? Obviously, they come to us and they say oh, you guys are great, right? But what's the number one thing that they've been asking about?
It's been a lot of different things. A lot of it is what's the way that I can do more with my plan? What do I have, a feature that I'm already not using? Or a lot of people just want to optimize their accounts and figure out ways that they can, do that. So that's been a really big question here. We've got a lot of newbies that have come through and they're like, what do you guys do? And so we've been doing a lot of talking to people about what our features are, what we do, and really just giving a little bit of support for people.
Yeah.
Jack's been doing one-on-ones like a madman. He hasn't stopped. We have to bring him water and tell him to go take a break sometimes. Stop it, Jack, you have to go. But he's been doing one-on-ones, which is really cool because they can bring their laptops over and Jack can walk them through whatever it is that they're working on, what they want to do. And so it's been really, really cool.
Yeah. No. Hi, Sheila, by the way, from Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Yeah. Minneapolis.
Yes. Optimizing your account is something we've been talking to people a lot about. We have authors here who are doing all kinds of different things within their author business. And the beauty of BookFunnel is that you can use our different features that fit into your business. BookFunnel is your indie author utility belt. And, sometimes you need a different tool for a different job. And so I've talked to authors who their primary way of like even building their mailing list is doing in-person events. So I tell them, hey, if that ain't broke, don't fix it. Focus on that. Focus on your strengths. For those of you who like maybe your author business isn't where you want it to be yet, I encourage you to try some different things. If you're in that stage, that exploratory stage of your business, try things you haven't done before. Do things that might even be a little bit scary, right? Put yourself out there, like go to an in-person event. Try out a social media platform that you've heard about. Try those things. And then stick with the things that not only work for you, but that you enjoy. Not everybody's going to want to do the same thing. Not everybody's going to use BookFunnel in the same way. And that's totally fine. That is totally fine.
Hi, Chris. All right. So Chris is saying, I haven't finished my first book yet. Could I give my reader magnet away soon, or should I wait until the book is done? It will either be an excerpt or a standalone short story about a main character before the book starts.
Yeah.
I might do both. Your thoughts would be appreciated. Thank you.
Yes.
Great, Chris.
You should do both. You should do both. I would highly encourage you to do an excerpt and write that short story. If the short story isn't written yet, you should be able to pull an excerpt right now, even if the book's not done. Tell people it's a draft. It's not fully finished. Readers won't care. In fact, they'll think that's great. They're getting to see the product before it's finished, right? That's actually better. They're getting an exclusive view at the book before it's done. So start with that excerpt, write that short story, use both of them. We talk about this in our 5 Reader Magnets Every Author Needs webinar. You can find that on the YouTube channel. But you should be giving away a reader magnet as soon as you have it. That is my opinion. Not everybody shares that opinion. But even before you finish book 1, in my opinion, you should have that reader magnet out there so the readers can find it. You're building an audience as you're finishing that book. That by the time you have your book finished, you will have an audience. You'll be ahead of many other authors who tend to do it the other way around. They finish book 1. I know, Kelly, we see this.
I did it.
And it's typical. It's typical. And there's nothing wrong with that. If you're really focused on that creative process, sometimes it's not what you're thinking of in the moment to have that reader magnet ready to go.
Yeah, and I think one of the things you want to do if you are doing a sample or an excerpt is that you want to make sure that you are making it clear to your reader that it's a sample, because when they download it, they might think it's a full book. So what I usually suggest is on the cover, put like one of those stamps or stickers that you can like graph on the graphics and add that to your book that says sample or excerpt. That way they're not thinking they're downloading a full book, and then they might be like a little put out because they thought they were getting a full book and they didn't. So that's the only thing I suggest. But you could definitely start building your list now.
Chris has a follow-up question here. How would I tell people about it without any mailing list? Thanks, Jack and Kelly. Yeah, no problem, Chris. Did you already address that?
No.
I was getting that link.
No.
So BookFunnel group promos is where I would start. You do not need a mailing list to start BookFunnel group promos. You can start from 0 and join your first BookFunnel group promo. Put your excerpt in there. If you're doing an excerpt or a sample, I recommend that you don't collect an email against it. Have a link at the end of it where they can join your mailing list, but don't collect an email up front. Clearly label it as an excerpt or a sample so that they don't get frustrated, and do it that way. When you have your short story reader magnet ready to go, put that in those group promos as well. Webinars on this topic. We have orientation sessions that you'll find on the YouTube channel as well. That'll help walk you through them.
Yeah.
So absolutely.
You like short stories.
Yep.
They like completed stories, so that's always a good one to give away, especially if it's like connected to your main series.
Lydia.
Yeah, that would be a really great one. Okay, are promos suitable for nonfiction business oriented?
Yes. So, good question, Rick. There are nonfiction promos that are hosted by nonfiction authors on the BookFunnel dashboard. So if you go specifically to the group promos tab on your dashboard, on your BookFunnel dashboard, you're going to see a bunch of listed. And you can expand each of those and see all the promos that are posted in those genres, and nonfiction is there. So, yep, you can find nonfiction promos. The trick sometimes with nonfiction is that you have to find your niche and what's a good fit. So author swaps are another opportunity where you can find one author to swap with as opposed to a group of authors. Sometimes that works better for folks as well. But If you find authors that aren't on BookFunnel, other nonfiction authors to collaborate with, you can still give them your BookFunnel links. Let's say you find an author who's not using BookFunnel and you're going to do a newsletter swap. So in their newsletter, they're going to talk about your book. Give them your BookFunnel link so that those readers then join your list. And obviously you might do something for them too. So there's that reciprocity factor there. But you can do stuff even off of BookFunnel with your BookFunnel landing pages. But obviously we have the promos and swaps there for you to find it there right on your dashboard.
So next question. All right. So I'm building my list through BookFunnel with a free prequel and publishing book 1 to Amazon by the end of the week, but pre-selling through BookFunnel for 99 cents. Now, once published to Amazon, should I keep sales through BookFunnel or move to Amazon? So it really depends on how you're publishing on Amazon. So what you're going to want to do is, if you're in Kindle Unlimited or Kindle Select, you're not going to want to put your book or keep your book on BookFunnel through your own store because you have an exclusivity clause if you're in Kindle Select. If you're not in Kindle Select, then you're welcome to keep it on your own store and just sell it for 99 cents. So it's okay if you want to go ahead and sell it that way. I think we have our guest here.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to step out, guys.
Thank you, Kelly. She'll be back here in a minute. All right. So our first guest for today, we'll be answering some questions still, but I want to introduce Lydia Sherrer. Welcome, Lydia.
Hi.
To BookFunnel Live. So Lydia, you use BookFunnel. How about you first, for the folks in the audience, these are all authors from all different walks of life, different genres. They may or may not be familiar with you, right? Don't take offense to that. Tell them about your journey as an author, how you got here, how BookFunnel helped you.
Okay. So I started writing 24. No, never mind. I've been writing since I was 10. I started publishing in about 2014, 2015. So I've been publishing a little over a decade. And I came to the idea of publishing, looking at trad publishing and self-publishing as which one works best for me. And I realized that I was impatient and there's no way I'm going to wait around for somebody else to tell me that I'm good enough.
Yep.
So I'm self-publishing. I'm an extrovert and I'm very entrepreneurial. My dad has founded several small businesses. And so I kind of came from a background of, if I need to do it, I can figure out how to do it myself. And so that's just how I went about my journey. So I'm completely self-taught. I did 2 years of online research into self-publishing while I was writing before I actually pulled the trigger and published. I kickstarted my first 2 books kind of long before Kickstarter was really a thing that most authors knew about back in 2015, 2016. So I kickstarted my first 2 books and got both those published in 2016, and it's just gone from there. The first couple years were pretty slow just because I didn't know what I was doing. There wasn't a ton, there were a lot, but not compared to now. A lot of self-published authors out there. So there wasn't stuff like Author Nation. There wasn't stuff like
right. It didn't exist yet.
It didn't exist yet.
Yeah.
So I did a lot of trial and error, and I did a lot of just seeing what other people were doing. I did a lot of conventions. I met a lot of people in person. And then about 2018, Ads for Authors went up by Mark Dawson, and indie authors started getting into the Facebook advertising space and the online advertising, AMS ads, the Amazon ads and everything. So I started getting into that and learning, along with all these people doing it for the first time. And then in 2019, I started doing something called EMO with Steve Piper, which is just getting into direct sales, which was, instead of sending the bulk of people to Amazon, having my own website, sending them to my website, doing a landing page with a ebook bundle or whatever, and just going from there.
Yeah.
And so I joined BookFunnel in 2016.
Right.
I'm actually in the first 2,000, 3,000 or so users of BookFunnel, which I was reminiscing with Damon about last night. And so I basically, the day I heard about it, I signed up for it. I was sweet, there's this funnel that I can send my books to people. And that was around the time that I was thinking about writing a lead gen novella. And so I signed up so that I could distribute my lead gen novella. And the main reason I signed up was because it was free.
Yeah.
And it has a very good free user starting point. And so obviously at that time that was really important because I was a baby author and had no money for anything. And so I really appreciated that BookFunnel has, for tens of thousands of authors, provided us a free place to start to connect with readers and to get our stuff out there
Right.
without having any resources to start with. And then that allows authors to scale and grow so that by the time they need more services, they can afford to pay BookFunnel for the very valuable service that BookFunnel is offering. I have always found BookFunnel to be incredibly responsive and helpful and reliable and like on point, and like Damon is amazing.
Yeah.
The Jamie, who is multiple people, but the Jamie has been doing tech support for my readers for like 6-7 years now. So it's been great. So I use BookFunnel for all of my ebook fulfillment through my website. So, tens of thousands of ebook sales, like they're doing tech support to all my poor little cat ladies who I love to death. They just don't understand how technology works.
Sure.
And so that's really great. And then I do a lot of the BookFunnel group promos. So I actually do like 3 or 4 of those every single month. And I just signed up.
Awesome.
I'm just signed up for the different lists.
Yeah.
And so it sends me notifications whenever it goes up.
Yeah.
And I just pick and choose which work best for me. I will say, like, after doing that for probably 4 years now, like it's a lot of the same people doing the same thing. So I try to pick ones organized by people I've never heard of, get like fresh faces.
Yeah.
And I also have noticed that there is some user fatigue. Like my newsletter list, my emails, so it's like it's not as good of a return.
I got some stuff I can teach you though.
Well, because I want to make sure that I'm giving my readers fresh content that they haven't seen before.
Absolutely.
While also still keeping the model of, like, I have a whole section of my newsletter at the bottom. It's like, hey guys, free books because we all need more books.
Yeah.
And that's where I put those promos. And so I would love to hear whatever you have to say on that. I'm sure there's lots of tips and tricks and stuff that BookFunnel has to offer that I don't use. I don't have time to like dive in everything. Like the whole ebook signature thing. So it's been a lot of fun.
It is.
Have not had the bandwidth to even check it out yet. So
yeah,
that's something. But for me, there's my journey. For me, I write magical adventure with snarky humor and talking cats. So I have an urban fantasy, kind of cozy epic fantasy series called the Lily Singer Adventures. It's set in my Love Lies and Hocus Pocus universe. There's a wizard, a witch, and a talking cat. Lily, who's the wizard, just wants to be left alone. She's an introvert archivist, feeder cat reader books, but her friend, professional associate Sebastian Blackwell, is always getting into trouble and dragging her after him. He's a witch, by the way. It's a genetic thing, not a gender thing. So she was born with magic. He acquired magic by other means. And then her cat starts talking and shenanigans ensue. So if you enjoy stuff like Harry Potter, Sabrina the Teenage Witch, Supernatural, those kinds of fun, humorous urban fantasy
books.
Yeah, you might really enjoy them. There's 8 books out in the series so far, and I'm working on the 9th. There's a couple more planned. And then there's multiple other series in the world. There's spin-offs. Sir Kipling the Cat has his own novella series where he goes off and has his own adventures. Sebastian has a backstory trilogy that I'm in the middle of. And there's other series planned for various characters in the universe. So it's clean. It's adult characters, but YA appropriate. So it's appropriate for your teenage readers or your middle grade readers who maybe have already read the Harry Potter books. And if you enjoy, especially if you like animals, and just lots of fun humor, you'd probably really enjoy it. So this is my bread and butter, and this is my indie published stuff that I do all my fulfillment through with BookFunnel. I also do have though a game lit RPG type series right from my bookmarks called TD Hunter. I don't know if you can see that. TD Hunter, that's published through Bain Books, that I wrote with John Ringo. So it's gamer girl fiction. It's like set in your future. It's got a lot of technology aspects. It's got a snarky AI in it. And like the good kind of AI. The AI that knows it's a machine and is just trying to help humans stay alive, not the kind of AI that's trying to pretend to be a human and take over. Just like the good AI.
Yeah.
The AI that knows its place. So if you enjoy, again, there's lots of snarky humor. If you enjoy gaming aspects, it's really high octane, lots of action, really fun team building aspects. So that's something you can check out too.
Yeah.
But any other questions?
Well, Sheila does have a question here, and you can give a few, and I can give a few. But top 5 ways to promote your first book online for cheap.
For cheap. Okay, first of all, hi, Rick. Rick said hi. So, and Chris says I have great energy. I'm an extroverted extrovert. My philosophy is that strangers are just friends I haven't met yet, which means that I might one day be a friend of an axe murderer, and I won't know until he tries to murder me. But if he does try to murder me, I have a black belt in Taekwondo, so I probably will be okay. 5 ways to promote your books for cheap. So newsletter swaps. And that does involve getting to know people in the community. So it does take some social energy, obviously, but there's nothing's free. So you either have time or you have money. One of the two. Usually you don't have both. Usually people who have lots of money to spend on advertising have no time at all. And people who have lots of time don't have any money. And so you start with all time, no money. So in your time, get to know people in your genre and do newsletter swaps with them. Also find people who and become friends with people and like help them promote their books. So if you have a friend who is above you, not above you, but like further on in their journey and they have books out and everything, help them promote their books as like an ARC reader or whatever and tell your friends about it. And then ask if you could do like a promo, not necessarily promo, but just a feature of your book, a mention in like their Facebook group. And say like, hey, do you mind if I mention my book to your friends? Can I do like a fun Friday post of, what's your favorite magical animal or something like that? And just mention my books. There's also something, so let's newsletter, Facebook groups, find local events like craft fairs or like your little local church.
It's not online.
Or other, yeah, it's not online, but you really do need to get out in person, even if you're an introvert, because you need to learn how to look someone in the eye and tell them about your book, which takes time to learn how to do, but it's a pretty vital part of owning your brand and being able to communicate to people what you have to offer in a book. And the better you know that, the better you can sell books no matter where you are or what you're doing. And then let's hear two more.
One.
Yeah.
I've got one, and it's going to be not what you think.
Well, start a newsletter, which can be free. There are some newsletter providers that'll offer like up to 500 or up to 1,000 people free. Right. So get started on the newsletter.
But what I would say, because you mentioned ads, and people, when they think of ads, they think, oh man, I don't have the money for that. On Facebook ads, you can start with a very low budget. And if you know, in fact, even lower than that, if you just want to get familiar with the advertising platform, if you know that Facebook ads are going to be part of your business model in the future, it's almost more beneficial for you to like start now with a very low budget, a budget that you can afford every month, but then you're learning how to use the Facebook ads platform. You're getting some data. And if you're running that to a reader magnet, you'd be growing your list off of that. So that you can actually get something out of that. So it can be cheap. Running ads can be cheap. You can start cheap.
Yeah. Well, and so we started at $5, $10, $15 a day.
Small, you build up.
Yeah. You start small and scale up. Scaling up is a really important concept in this business because people like us starting as just small indies, proprietor, we have our day job or whatever. Like we're starting with small resources, but you can build. You don't have to have a bunch of capital to invest. So you start small and you scale up. So I don't take up too much of your all stuff.
The other one, if we didn't get a fifth one, social media. If you're comfortable being on a social media platform, one that you use probably as a user, social media can work. It's cheap in the sense that you just you're trading your time for attention.
For your social circles.
Exactly.
And I don't mean be a car salesman to all your friends.
No. Yeah.
Share your passion. Figure out how to communicate why it is that you're passionate about writing, what it is about this story that really drives you to want to write it, like whether it's a theme, whether it's a particular character, or whether you're like, hey, I'm passionate about writing and I'd love to make enough money to feed my kids and do this full time. Share that passion with your social circles. And a lot of people will be so happy to support you, even if they don't necessarily want to read your book, or it's like I could take it or leave it kind of thing. They want to support you. And that's how I got started with my Kickstarters, is my Kickstarters were mostly supported by my social circles. Yeah. So even if your social circle is small, just tap into them and they're going to be your biggest supporters. Sure. So
awesome. Lydia.
Thanks so much, James. Good to hang out. See you guys.
All right. So thank you for Lydia for joining us. We got Sean Platt lined up here. He's going to be with us here in just a moment. But yeah, if you guys have more questions about BookFunnel, about self-publishing, anything, go ahead and put those in the chat. If you're here on Facebook watching, let me know that you're there. Tell me that you're alive. I can see the Zoom stuff. I can't see everybody in Facebook. But hey, Sean, how's it going?
I've never been better. I'm better, but
sure. Yeah. I know. Like I think back to like when I was 18, like life was pretty good. My joints didn't hurt.
Oh, it was 18 sucked. No, 18 was not good.
Okay. Well, different for different people, maybe. But so Sean, we got the BookFunnel audience here, BookFunnel authors with us on Zoom and Facebook. Yep. Right. And they might ask some questions. That's totally cool. But for those who might not know who you are, like who might not know who Sean Platt is, but give us like the introduction. Like, who are you? Like, what's your story?
Yeah. So I've been writing for, 18 years.
18 years?
30. Actually, I didn't start till I was 32. So my wife bought me a MacBook on my 30th birthday and said, you need to start writing.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm a high school dropout. I don't know where the commas are.
Okay, yeah.
She said, editors know where the commas are.
Right.
You're a storyteller. You should start writing.
Yeah.
So I started writing like really avidly, and we had a preschool at the time. And so I was writing a lot of children's books.
Sure.
And I sent them to a publisher and they said, we love your work, Mr. Platt, but we find your vocabulary too rich for children.
Mhm.
And I was like, fuck that noise. I started my first, I'm like, well, I'm just going to get my own audience. I'm going to build my
Sure.
own audience. 3 years later, but I started the self-publishing podcast with
Yeah.
Johnny
Yep.
B. Truant and David Wright. And then we wrote Write, Publish, Repeat. And I founded the publishing company Sterling and Stone. And 400 books later, that's what we do.
Yeah, exactly. So also, like that little tidbit about the children's books is one thing I didn't know that little tidbit of your origin story.
Yeah, well, I'm not good at asking for permission.
Sure.
And that's what BookFunnel is amazing about,
Right.
like really helping all
Yeah.
the authors who don't want to ask for permission.
Right. Well, and a really cool story that I've heard you tell is you were there. You were kind of like there when BookFunnel was born.
Oh yeah, I was in the room.
Yes. Like tell the folks here that story, because
Yeah.
that's
Yeah, that was great.
for BookFunnel anyway. It's like, it's a good story. I like.
Well, we would have never imagined at that moment. So there were two things born in this room
Yeah.
at this time. The first was BookFunnel. Damon was sitting there. This is the first event that we ever did. We ended up having a mastermind later, but this
Yeah.
was just the first little like,
Yeah.
hey, let's get some people who really care about this industry and
Yeah.
are trying to do cool shit, get them in a room together and see what happens. And Damon was one of them. And he's like, can I show you guys something?
Yeah.
And he was a little timid. Like it wasn't BookFunnel. It was
Yeah.
this idea that he had. And he's like, you guys are always talking about book funnels. I thought I'd call it BookFunnel.
Yeah.
And it was a way to sideload. Like it was much,
Yeah.
the 1.0 was much simpler than the amazing thing that this has become.
Right.
But it was a place to validate idea.
Right.
Also in that room was this thing called Story Shop, which, we spent a few years on and it got aborted. Like we didn't do with our software what you did
Yeah.
with yours. And it's amazing because two ideas were born in that room.
Yeah.
One became a cog for the industry.
Right. And it's a beautiful thing what Damon has done. And it's like, it's an honor and a privilege to be a part of it. For a lot of authors who are entering the industry now, it's like BookFunnel is just part of the industry. Yeah. But at that time, like,
dude, guys, like,
yeah,
this is what all great products do. They actually solve a problem.
Right.
And Damon was not. I mean, I was there on day one. Damon was not like, I'm going to make $1.
Right.
It was, how do you sideload? And it was so complicated back then. There was no solution for if you want to sell direct, if you want a reader to get your book and they need it on Kindle, how do you do that?
Right.
And he solved a problem that every one of us was suffering from.
Right.
And that was magic. Like I got magic in real time.
And like the logistics of it, because it was, well, here's an EPUB file and your readers don't know what an EPUB file is, and there's directions for side loading, so I didn't know that it could, like, honestly, I don't think I believed Damon that he could pull this off. We call him the wizard. We do, like at BookFunnel, it's like
totally earned.
Yes, because he solves those problems, and he has been solving problems like in the industry for a long time. We've got the new ebook signing feature. Have you gotten to see it?
No,
you haven't gotten to see. Okay, well, I can't really, it might be hard to show it to you right now, but you've done book signings before, right? Like in person, that sort of thing.
Not like Johnny. Johnny loves
yes.
But yes, I have.
But you've done it, right? Maybe if Johnny's around, maybe we can like pull him in here. But
I tried.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, no worries. But what I like about it, what I'm really excited about, and I don't know, maybe this will give you goosebumps. Maybe it'll be like, oh, I don't like that idea. Totally fine. I want to get your gut reaction on it. We're giving authors the ability to do a book signing whenever they want. You can do a virtual event. You don't need to like go somewhere and physically sign.
I'm a hermit. It was a lot to get me here. Right.
Right.
I like my bed. I like my life. I like my schedule.
Yes.
I like walking the dog at 7 a.m.
Right.
So it's hard to get me out to something like that. Where, Johnny does the farmer's market every Sunday. Right.
Always,
So for me, doing a virtual, like, I want to connect with fans. I want to do that. I just, being able to do it on my terms, be magic.
Right. No, I think that's going to be, a lot of authors are going to take advantage of it. I'm excited to see what they do. I guess there's like TikTok's the big thing now.
How does it work?
Okay, so basically, from your BookFunnel dashboard, you're able to open a signing event. You can have all of your books on BookFunnel available for you to sign if you want. You can add a custom image that gets inserted into the book. You can use on a touch screen, you just literally sign it. This is an Apple Pencil, but you could use a stylus. You could use your finger, whatever. You're literally just drawing on the cover art. You could upload an image of the title page, sign the title page, and tell BookFunnel, for this reader, replace the title page with the image that I signed.
Okay. I love this for like a million reasons, but I'm really curious on the origin story of this.
Okay.
Because this is one of those ideas that once you hear it, you're like, oh, of course that should exist.
Yes.
But like,
yes.
how is this?
So Richie deserves a lot of the credit on it. I think there's the idea's probably been out there. There's been seeds of that idea. Like the authors have been doing signed ebooks before, but usually what they do is it's one signature.
Well, a live signing is different.
Right. This is totally
different language.
And so Richie definitely came up. He like had the original idea, and then it's been like kicked around and workshopped, and then it's taken about a year to get us to this point. Like we were here last year talking about the seed of this feature, and now it's germinated. And so in addition to that, like we've built tools around it so you can have like a registration page. So like you can put it up on a QR code, and as the readers are in line waiting to come up and get their ebook from you, they put in their information and you just push a button and you've got all their information. You can sign the book for them. They can even leave a comment like, to my biggest fan. Yeah. Yes. But you can put that link anywhere. So it works on social media too. If you do like a TikTok live stream, you put that link in the TikTok chat and people are discovering you on TikTok and you're signing ebooks for like that's their initial experience with you where they get to meet you.
I mean, to be clear, I'm still not going to be on
TikTok. No. Yeah.
Love this.
Right. Right. And for those of you in the audience who are like TikTok, what? But if you're any other social media platform, it's an option.
If you like TikTok, what?
Right. Yeah, exactly. Or, if you prefer something more intimate, you could do a Zoom, right? And so you could, for your Kickstarter at a certain tier, it could include a ticket to like a live ebook signing that you do on Zoom, just with a private group of readers. And that sort of thing. So you're like, I think it fits very well in like the whole, I know this is not yours, it's Johnny's, but the artist and author thing. It jives really well with that whole idea that he had.
No, I love this.
Yeah, absolutely. What have you been up to these days too? Like to keep tabs on you.
Oh man, I've been up to a lot of shit. It's been a long couple of years.
Yeah.
But I've actually, I don't know the last time I felt this creatively fertile.
Yeah.
I'm really excited. So a few years ago, I decided I just didn't want to write to the algorithms anymore. I was done. I didn't want to, and not to say that I haven't. I've written a bunch of KU stuff in the last 2 years, and we have a team, and we combine on pen names, and so I have written for KU.
Yeah,
but I don't get the joy of the pure storytelling that I'm kind of wired to do. And so a few years ago, I just decided I'm not going to stop writing, but I'm going to stop publishing. And so I have like, I don't know, somewhere between 20 and 30 books that are just unpublished.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to be publishing a book a month, every single month for the next couple of years.
Right.
And I won't even have to write that much to keep that pace.
Right.
And I'm really excited because all of the books that I'm going to publish are things that I just love. And I don't really care. I mean, of course I care how well they do, but I'm confident that I just need to turn the flywheel.
Right.
And I want to get back into email marketing. Like, that's how I started. I used to write emails, and I've totally stopped. We as a company have neglected that, and we really just relied on algorithms.
Yeah.
And I think that's short-sighted. And so I'm really excited that we're getting back into it, and I'll be leading the charge on that. And for the first time in my entire time online, I actually have the two sides of myself, which is I've got this business side and I've got this fiction side.
Right.
And they've always been very separated. And I don't think that served me.
Yeah.
So for the first time, I'll have a regular email that just, here's all the shit that I'm doing, but in a way where it's really curated. So the audience can't get lost. I need to help guide them through the journey.
Exactly. I totally get that. And it's like connecting with readers has been the big thing we've been talking about. And email marketing, it's been one of those mainstays for authors for a long time. Like people have been saying you need a mailing list for over a decade now. It's not a new thing. But we've talked to a lot of authors here at Author Nation and a lot of new authors who were like, do I have to do a mailing list? Do I have to? It's like, well, you kind of do.
I feel honestly like you have to.
It's compulsory.
If you want to grow, because like connection is more important than ever.
Yeah.
And you want to connect with the artist because it's not like, I understand how important genre is.
Yeah.
But we're not far away from a time when you can get custom books that are exactly what you want to read, written for you by a robot, delivered to your inbox.
Right.
So it's not the story that is important. It's the connection going forward. And you need to be able to foster that by putting your best self out there and having that connection with the reader.
And a mailing list is one of the best ways to do that because, it's already in in a format that you're writing. So that makes sense. You're going to write to them, and that's a communication tool that authors are probably familiar with, but you own it. It's yours.
You own it. And we like, honestly, I feel negligent on the way we've handled email in the last couple of years, you know? And so I want that connection.
Yeah.
And I miss it. Like, I miss it a lot.
Yeah. Well, there's a natural ebb and flow to it. You'll get it back.
Oh,
yeah.
Like that.
Yeah. Exactly.
I think I'm relaunching on my birthday, which is January 23rd.
Fun. That's fun.
So, but I want to be, I do want to write weekly emails.
Yeah.
But I want, again, a real curated experience.
Right.
So if somebody comes in, and
I like that you're doing it weekly.
Yeah.
Too.
So this is I think this is solid advice for anyone listening.
Yeah.
Is that it's like, what do I write about next? That's something that a lot of authors get lost in. What do I write about? What do I write?
Right.
And I think if you map out a journey, you know how to tell a story. You're the author.
Yeah.
So think about your emails in that way.
Right.
So I'm going to be 13 weeks, a full quarter ahead by the time I launch on my birthday. And then every week I'll write a new one, but it just gets added to the thing. So it's not that I'll never write a live email because I have this promotion or this book. But if somebody comes in, I want to take them through a journey.
Right.
I'm introducing you to this part of myself or this part of my work.
Right.
And this is how it's relevant. And this cliffhanger open loop in email 4 gets answered in email 7.
Yes.
So that there's
a
reason for them to keep reading.
That. You're telling a story. Yes. No, I love that. I love that. That's something I need to do.
But when we talk next year, right, I will have had a year's worth of email.
Right.
And so if somebody stays on that list for a year, and I'm pretty good at retention. Once I have somebody at email 3 or 4, like that, they do stick around. And so think about how much they'll know about me and my body of work after spending, and I'm going to spend it on like Sundays probably. So it's at a time where you spend more leisurely time in work.
Exactly.
So I think emails are essential, but I think it's important to be really intentional about how you craft them.
Yeah.
And what kind of relationship you're communicating.
Right. No, I love that. I'd like to chat with you more about that one-on-one if we ever have the chance to.
Absolutely.
Pick your brain on it. We do have a question here. So do I have to have MailerLite or something similar to start a mailing list, or can I do it purely through BookFunnel? So the good question, BookFunnel is not a mailing list service. So yeah, you're going to need a service like MailerLite or MailChimp. ConvertKit is now Kit, but what do you use for your mailing list service?
I use Kit.
Kit?
Yeah, I use Kit because I do think it's the best, but Nathan, the founder, I'm friends with him.
Okay.
And he's just a good human.
Yeah.
And he turned down, I don't know, like $200 million from Spotify for Kit because he's like, it's not good for my people. And I
respect that.
I love the ethic of the company, and I love how creator driven they are. So yeah, I think the world of Kit.
Yeah.
So yeah, I use Kit for everything.
Right. I personally use MailerLite. Bad about Kit. In fact, BookFunnel uses Kit. Yeah. That's what our mailing list is through, and it's a great platform. For authors, I use MailerLite just because I prefer the interface. And I think for a lot of authors, if you're new to it, like, test out a lot of these platforms and see what makes sense to you.
I will say on Kit, they did just raise their prices, which isn't friendly for new authors.
Oh, that's the thing.
It was a substantial hike.
Yeah.
Know what you're doing, and you have a list. It's still pennies on the dollar. It's a good spend.
Right.
But if you're just getting started, I probably wouldn't recommend Kit.
Right. MailerLite is they're towards the lower end there and a lot of those services too. It's free up to a certain number of subscribers, so you can try some of them. Like I used to use MailChimp.
It gives you like 10. I mean,
it might be different for each one, but I started with MailChimp, and the interface just never clicked with me. I didn't really understand how to navigate it. And then I went to MailerLite. I tried a few others, and MailerLite just made sense to me. And I host my websites through them, and it's all in one place.
I think you need to find something that feels native. Play around with them.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
If it feels like work, it's going to be work.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. I agree with that, absolutely. All right, Sean.
Yeah.
It's been great having you on.
Always.
Any last words for the audience or anything before we go?
I think that I think all of this is discipline. I think that, if you stick with it, another reason I like Kit is that they're all about the flywheel. And if you don't know what a flywheel is, it's a business principle that I think really applies to creativity in all of its ways. Mm-hmm. So a flywheel, imagine like a big wheel that's just really, really hard to turn. And you're just putting like all your effort into just getting it around one time, and then the second time, and then the third time. And then all of a sudden you're going faster and faster and faster and building momentum, and it starts turning itself. And you can step away from the wheel and that motherfucker keeps turning. and that I think is really important, because your creativity, like the best stuff that we ever make, comes from a state of flow.
Yeah.
And we get flow by turning our creative flywheels, and we get business momentum by turning our flywheels. We get fans by turning our flywheels. Any one of us can have a pretty great creative and professional life if we get our 1,000 fans.
Yeah.
If we get our 1,000 fans, that comes from turning that flywheel. And a flywheel isn't just about like mindless effort. It's not showing up on the keyboard every day. It's making sure that everything you do feeds the next thing that you're doing. And then if you put several things in a row and each one feeds the next, and you're constantly turning that wheel, then your work gets easier, not harder.
Right.
And a lot of us, the wheel we're on is the hamster wheel. Hamster wheels and flywheels are not the same. Hamster wheel is you just keep working no matter what.
Yeah.
Flywheels are you're working so that you're constantly stacking your efforts.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, thank you, Sean,
Yeah.
for joining us.
My pleasure,
It
man.
was great. It was drop of the hat too. Like I gave you like 30 minutes advance notice, or with somebody like, hey, we're doing BookFunnel Live. We'd like to have you here. So thank you. I appreciate it.
You guys are so for the author and you're so for the industry. I would do anything to help you guys anytime.
Yeah.
I'm saying that publicly.
I think we're going to have you on the podcast soon.
Oh, I'll
we
be
talked
there.
about, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, you'll see more of Sean.
Yeah. Well,
he'll be around.
Sorry about that, guys.
Good.
See you later.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Of course.
That's Emma. Hop on in unless it's here. Awesome. All right. Well, so that was Sean Platt, who was with us just now. And yeah, lots of energy. Tammy, yes, you're absolutely right. It is a great event. The speakers, the sessions and everything. I'm bumping the table. I'm sorry. It's all been great. But what also is great is Emma. Emma is another one of our author support specialists, alongside Kelly. I trained both of them, so I'm very proud. I'm very proud of both of them.
You did
I did my Emma. Because you've been as an author, you've been around for a while in the industry, you've been part of BookFunnel.
Fine.
Yeah.
209.
Yeah. A user 209 of BookFunnel, right? So a very early adopter. What's your take on Author Nation this year?
The energy is really good. It's grown since last year, which is a fabulous sign. I don't know, the exhibitors, the authors, everybody's just really excited, really positive to be here, wanting to we're also tired because there's so much information we're all taking in and learning from each other. Come next year, come see us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or just to be able to talk to people in person, that connection.
And we know not everybody can make it to Las Vegas, and that's part of the reason why we do BookFunnel Live from Author Nation, so you at least get some insight, a little bit of a taste of it, bringing in some guests and that sort of thing. That's kind of what we want to do. We know it's not in the cards for everybody, but if it is one of these days, definitely come by and see us. We'd love to have you here. We do have a question here from Sheila about thoughts on using drafted digital services for early entrance for authors. Emma, what are your thoughts on drafted digital in that context? What's your answer to that question?
My mother is 70 and she has a line of books she's publishing. And the first thing I told her is go to drafted digital. You can get beautiful EPUBs formulated. Their UI is simple. They will distribute to a plethora of platforms. So for one-click distribution, especially if you don't have a lot of time, a lot of energy, I've been using them for years.
No, they are great for that. There's some authors out there who are going to be, no, I can do it myself. I'll handle all that stuff. And that's totally fine. But for those authors out there who that side of things is intimidating to you, or you don't want to spend time on that, you'd rather spend time writing, then we recommend Drafted Digital. We know the folks at Drafted Digital. I've eaten sushi with them here in Las Vegas, right? They are
distributing to libraries. If you are in KU now, you can distribute to libraries for Amazon TOS.
Yep. And a lot of them are authors themselves, so they know what it's like. Just like here at BookFunnel, the majority of all of our author support team are authors. Members of our dev team are authors. And so this company is by authors, for authors. Drafted Digital is the same way. So we have nothing but good things to say about Drafted Digital, in all honesty. So yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Come on over. Thank you, Emma, for joining us. Well, you can hop on in here in a minute if you want to. How you doing, sir?
Are you interested in joining me on an adventure on timeshare?
Maybe you could probably sell me on it.
Would you like a free buffet?
Exactly. So, hey, folks, this is our BookFunnel Live crew on Zoom and on Facebook. Joe Solari.
I got to put my glasses on to see all the little faces.
Yeah.
Hello, Tammy.
Yeah.
And that Ursula and
Lisa.
Lisa.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah. So, Joe, you are the head honcho, the man in charge. You made Author Nation happen. I'm with the team.
With the team.
I'm trying buttering you up here.
I know you don't need to.
But what's your mission with Author Nation? Tell, because I know there's potentially some people who are like, it's a conference. They just want my money. I know, and I know you, and I know that's not what it is. You have a mission for authors, and you have aspirations.
No, it's a great question, and so what we're really focused on for folks is exploring and helping you create your best life through writing.
Yeah,
and I think in the past, a lot of conferences, and not only in the past, there's a lot of these now where folks are like really focused. Oh, you're gonna make $1 million. You're gonna do this.
Yeah.
It's like, it's nice. Everyone likes money.
sure.
But the reality is that might not fit with your lifestyle because you're a single mom or you've got a different place in your life, kids or whatever it might be. There's ways to find what your best life through writing is today. It's not all about money.
Yeah.
It's about having the ability to go into that story world and hang out with your friends that are in the story world and creating that. And so that's what we're doing with this show is we're trying to, we partner with guys like BookFunnel to help people know like how to use the technologies to find that audience. We also have craft. We're really focused on all the different facets. And quite frankly, this is an industry that you never get to stop.
Yeah.
Right. You have to always be sharpening that saw and honing those skills.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's it. Yeah. Like it's almost like continuing education in a lot of ways. Yeah.
I mentioned it in my opening remarks. It's like, I've been coming to conferences like this since 2016. And while I get a lot out of every single one of those, and I really like it, a lot of the stuff I learned back then don't work.
Right.
And it's not because it was wrong. It's just because the market's changed.
Right.
But there are some strategic things and more importantly, some relationships I built at those past shows that helped me to keep my sanity.
Sure.
And like bounce off like, hey, was this me or is this the market?
Yeah.
So,
That and the thing we love about Author Nation, just as a conference too, is the fact that like it's for authors at all stages. We talked to so many authors at Author Nation who like they haven't even published yet, but they're still getting a lot out of what's going on here.
Mhm.
It's like no matter what stage you're at, I feel like some conferences are maybe more directed towards people who like you've already published, you're already full time, you're in that position. But Author Nation, for the authors who are like aspiring, I think there's a lot you can gain from attending. I'm not trying to like tee you up here, but I genuinely think that there's a lot of benefit to it.
I think there's also with the way the market's changing and what's going on. I was talking to somebody who traditionally published author.
Yeah.
She went to the Reader Magazine presentation. She didn't know what a Reader Magazine is.
Right,
And, like, you and I are like, you don't know what a Reader Magazine is. Like,
right.
that's like, you don't know how to tie your shoes. But like, you forget there's people that never had to market that way and don't understand the power.
Right.
And I think that's another thing that's different about us is like, we're doing the work to bring people as, authors as close as possible to their readers and listeners. And, where we want to teach people how to do that. And, what I'm like, I was realizing right now while we're talking is like, you went and did it, didn't you? You went and started the live stream. You're like folks that are out there understand Jack and I have been talking about those. And we see a vision where live becomes virtual and virtual becomes live.
Yeah.
We were talking it around about like authors doing this at a book signing event.
Yep.
But Jack's like, I'm not waiting. So he did it for
We're here. We're doing it. And I'm going to be doing more of it in the near future. It's going to be a lot of fun. We got to wrap up here in a few minutes. So I do want to get to a question here from Sheila. So once an indie author is up and running a bit, do they ever jump to a publisher? Going from indie to trad? Joe, any thoughts?
First off, yes. I think there's a growing trend of publishers starting to recognize that instead of us going through an acquisition editor and looking at it from the literary sense, they're like, hey, indie's kind of the farm league.
Yeah.
And I don't mean that in a
Yeah.
derogatory way, but it's like, oh, look, we have data. We can see, I call it that Moneyball approach.
Right.
It's like, oh, we can see this guy has more runs batted in. What if we got him on a team and coached him? They take, they see that you're already succeeding, say, in thriller. We'll go give you a 3-book deal.
Yeah. And in many cases, too, indie authors now are able to negotiate these deals a lot, but like they're able to keep their ebook rights and their audiobook rights, and they're just handing over physical, like paperback and hardback rights when they do sign with a publisher. Yeah. So it's definitely a thing that happens. It's happening. I don't know if it's necessarily happening more, or it's definitely evolved, but they're looking at it more. As
to that point, so J.D. Barker is here. He's talking about this because he's probably the best example of somebody that he does it all the ways. And even his indie stuff goes through the physical side. The print books goes through an imprint of his. That's his deal, but it's a JV with. I think it's Penguin. I don't speak out, but it's it's with one of the big deal publishers, right? And they saw the value in. And I think here's what happens. What's the other smart part about this is publishers are recognizing you care more about the marketing of your book, and you'll do it long. Right. So you're marketing your ebook and your audio, and it's given lift to the print sales. They are traditionally published folks. After 90 days, they're off.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. Joe, we got a question for you, Joe. Chris asks, does Joe have a tip for beginning authors besides using BookFunnel?
I got a lot, but first up, get the book written. Like if you got the book written, then whatever money you have, invest in the cover and your editing. Make it a really good product, right? Don't worry about ads and all that stuff. And I would say one of the cool things that we're doing at Author Nation, you don't have to come to the show, you don't have to pay a penny. We have this Kickstarter cohort. You can sign up for it at authornation.live. I would suggest, my personal opinion is right now, a debut author should be going to that group and they should be thinking about launching their first book on Kickstarter and remaining revenue neutral in the first year. And we have, we're data driven, so we have terrific results. We have currently a 90% success rate on our funding. So that's what that would be my other, go there and sign up.
Yeah. Right. Well, Joe, thank you for joining us. Thank you for everything you do.
Jack, this is awesome.
Yeah.
I love it. You're going to tell me about your rig here.
Yeah. It's not too complicated.
It's pretty.
Yeah. No, I love it. Well, thank you for joining us. See you. All right.
I was told to come over.
Yeah. Yeah. Johnny, come on over here. Let's see. Johnny, Kelly, can you step in for me?
Okay.
Hey, my position that you can see my tags.
You're just gonna have to project your voice. I'm gonna hand it off to Kelly for a minute here. I got a meeting here with another author for a bit. I'll be back just a minute.
All right. He's lying. He's going to get a steak.
He is.
Yeah.
That would be on par for us.
Yeah.
Right? Hi, Johnny.
Hey.
How's it going?
Going good.
Good. What are you up to?
I'm gonna heckle Johnny.
Oh, John's heckling me over there. Yeah.
Awesome.
You know the self-publishing podcast crew. The other one's over there. He's gonna photobomb.
Oh, there he is. Yeah. So, what are you're talking today, or did you already?
No, I did a panel yesterday on what was it? It was like long-term career. It was all we old people in the industry. And then tomorrow is my advanced artist and author, my solo.
And I don't know if Jack had a chance to introduce you. This is Johnny B. Truant.
He did not.
He did not.
No.
Okay, this is Johnny B. Truant. In the industry forever, and
I'm old.
What did you start with? What did you tell us a little bit about your career so far?
So on the side that that BookFunnel probably cares about, we were. By the way, are we this one or are we this one?
We're both.
Okay.
This is Facebook,
okay.
And that's
okay. I gotta get closer to you then because I feel over. Yeah. It's all good. So we did. So Sean Platt, who's sitting right there, and Dave Bright and I did the self-publishing podcast. We had the advantage of being one of the first big podcasts, except for Joanna's, and there were some others. But that was the reason. It wasn't that we were like talented or knew a lot. It was more like we were just one of the first.
Yeah.
And we were amusing.
Yeah.
And so when the podcast was chaotic enough and people were like, we enjoy you, but will you stay on point? We eventually wrote Write, Publish, Repeat. And that solidified our infamy, I suppose. And so ever since we've been trying to attach to our old reputations and not let the stardom die. That's what we've been doing. Yeah.
All right. You recently you had a Kickstarter. We talked with you about that.
Yes.
I think you were with Damon on that podcast.
Yeah.
So
Damon did that one. I felt a little out of it because I do listen to the BookFunnel podcast, so I was all ready to talk to you and Jack and
and it was Damon.
And it was Damon, which I mean, I'm not going to complain. I like Damon. He's okay. He's an okay guy.
He's a great.
Yeah. So the Kickstarter was the Artisan Author, which is the book, and I did a class with it too, and that's actually what I'm speaking on as well.
That's
here.
Yep.
So the short version is how like a instead of the like rapid release model essentially.
Yep.
So that's the in a nutshell. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So we have some questions for Johnny. Is Write, Publish a book or the podcast?
Write, Publish, Repeat was the book. The podcast was, I got a mind here, see if you can follow this, the self-publishing podcast. And the fact that we were able to get
early enough.
We were early enough that we could get selfpublishingpodcast.com. Now, not anymore. That's probably a porn site now, but we had it at the time. Like it was great. So yeah, that was ours.
Cool. And then, what other projects have you do fiction as well, right?
Oh yeah, that's.
I mean, that's what it was.
Oh, that's.
I heard about a unicorn. I haven't been over to like. What is up with the?
Yeah. So the reason the podcast started, but there's a whole long story there, but basically I was like, Sean and Dave were doing serial fiction. They found it was like entrepreneur meets publishing, which it now is normal. Now it's like standard, but at the time it was novel. And I was like, oh, okay. So there's a way to do this that speaks to the I already know. So I pitched the podcast because I wanted to like cling onto them and have a reason to like learn what they were doing and from other people too. So it was one of those deals. Like I'm going to learn from other smart people, providing value, I guess, hopefully. So that, but that was the main thing. Was like I wanted to be a fiction author, and that's primarily what I am. But that's what this community largely knows me as, like self-publishing podcast, right? So yeah, so I mean, I've written about 120, 130 books, depending on how you count them.
Oh wow!
The best known was Fat Vampire, which became a TV show on Sci-Fi called Reginald the Vampire.
Mm-hmm.
And that ran for 2 seasons. That had Jacob Batalon, who is the guy in the chair, Ned from Spider-Man.
Oh,
That was super cool to like go and see your project. And I don't want to like nobody gets starstruck, but yes, I am uncredited guy in window for 7 seconds in the background of the first episode. And I make like a 2 or 3 second cameo later on, also as uncredited guy in window.
Guy in window.
Yeah. So if you see the guy in the window wearing a black fleece behind Jacob and Mandela outside, like that's so.
You know, sometimes where they're like, "Oh, that was the author; she was the waitress," or something like that. I think that was in Aaron Brockovich. Like, actually, Aaron Brockovich was like the waitress that like came and served them, and I'm like, Johnny's the guy in the window.
Yeah, I'm the guy. I'm like in the window. I mean, I get mobbed all the time.
You do.
Yeah.
It was very recognizable.
Yeah,
sure. Yeah. Very cool. Very cool. So, what somebody was saying something about a unicorn. Is that a new project? Okay.
So that's the book I to as my favorite of all of our books, just because you need an answer to that question. People will always ask if you're because I do a lot of live selling. People will say, "What's your favorite?" I'm like, "Well, I love them all." That's like saying, "What's my favorite kid?"
Yeah.
But I usually say Corn Western. It was Sean's and my first project together, so I co-write just about everything with Sean, who I'm guessing is probably going to be on next.
He was already on.
Oh, he was already on. You were already on.
Yeah.
And go back in time and watch him. But I co-wrote with Sean. Unicorn Western was our first book together, and we've written most of our books together. So that was like the first episode of Black Mirror. That was like, this is going to differentiate whether we can work together or not, because it's such a weird project. It wasn't like a normal project. So it's exactly what it sounds like. It's a Western fantasy mashup. And a reader described it as, he said, if Stephen King was on acid when he wrote The Dark Tower. And it's got the most epic cover art, and it's a 9-book series that I only sell now in an omnibus just because it's cooler that way. And it's this enormous thing. So people are like, what's this enormous weird unicorn book? And we're actually writing isn't quite the right word, but a new book in the series right now.
Maybe.
Well, because it's the first book is the first series of 9, which I think of as one book, is like the core thing.
And then we wrote Unicorn Genesis, which is a sequel that feels like a prequel. So it comes after, but it's mostly flashbacks to before.
Okay.
And then this new one takes place in the middle. It's like between 7 and 8. It's between 7 and 8, right? Of the main series.
Okay. Okay. And then you said when you were doing an omnibus, and this might be good for some of our viewers that are like new questions, right?
Yes.
Omnibus, like when you did that, like do you recommend that for like any kind of series? When do you make that decision to do an omnibus? And if you don't know what that is, it's where you put your books all in a collection together. So it's basically bundled in one book, one purchase.
I did it because I think it's cool. I mean, that's the main reason. Is because the individual, I find small books unsatisfying. It's just a personal thing. So like when I get a book, if it's a 5 by Fat Vampire is the same way. If you get like a book that's a 5x8 format and it's like 170 pages, I'm just like, can you give me a real book, please? Like that's the way
it does feel a little thin.
Yeah. So like these are 150 to 300,000 word like collections.
In the book.
Yeah.
Together.
And it's a 6x9, 716 pages. And the other reason is because it's got this epic cover art. So like we had cover art made for all the individual books, but it's either derivative or just I don't like it as much. Whereas this is you get it, you know?
Yeah.
This is like what you're
a
getting.
special edition then.
No, it's not a special edition. It's just the collection.
It
But-
feels like it's a meteor.
Well, it feels like it's a story. Because I think some people we call it the full saga because that's like, it feels like a Western-y word.
Mm.
But like, I think people do understand omnibus, but it's like, if it's just, this is a book and if I present it as it's a book, then they don't have to do that cognitive work of figuring it out. And they're just like, oh, okay, I'm interested in that huge book.
Right.
So that's one. And the other is it's just a way like people like to buy collections in person because that's the way people buy in person. People don't sample. And I mean, they do, of course, there are people who do everything, but like, for instance, you go to a Comic-Con or something, like the con buyers tend to be con buyers, which means you'll sell to them again next year. You won't sell to them in between. You can get them on your list, but they're
only really getting shopping at the
they buy full trilogies, they buy full series. So the idea of like, I can sell you a book that's $13 or I can sell you a book that's $35 and everybody wins because it's so much cheaper than buying the individual books.
It's heavily discounted a little bit more when you have those omnibus together. You're getting the same amount of book, but it's a deal for them.
Yeah.
But it actually is a deal for you as well.
Well, sometimes people do omnibuses functional, meaning that it's like, I will shrink the text, I will shrink the margins so that I can just get it in there. And it's just like, it's utility. It's like, can I please have that in one set of covers? But for me, it's like it started with because that's the book I wanted to create. So it's a little bit like I do start with me. I do.
Okay.
I'm like, what's my preference? What do I want to write? What do I want to create?
Right.
And then it's like, is that commercially viable? I don't usually start with, I don't know. I do it both ways, I guess.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. That makes sense. Does anybody have questions? Okay. Thank you, BookFunnel, for this meeting. Have a great week. Bye. Hi, Marcelin. All right. Does anybody have questions for Johnny? Shawnee's still here.
Sean's also still there. Yeah.
I don't know. Let's just think about like when you were starting out, like, and if you were to do it again in this, knowing what you know now in this time, because a lot of these watchers, the people that are watching, are probably newer to this. What's your biggest piece of advice?
Straightforward, honestly. So we did a panel yesterday. I was mentioning this, and it was like sustainable long-term longevity, career, whatever. And it was me and Joanna Penn and Mark Lefebvre and Dan Wood from Drafted. We were like the old guard, like literally old, like we're all 50 or above. And well, almost. I'm still 49. I still got one more year. And also we've been in the business a really long time. So I felt like the audience was very receptive to everything that we said, but because we're kind of like, we've been in this a long time, you whippersnappers with your fancy tech, like I think there was a little bit of, okay, this is great, but I already know this. So can you please just tell me how to make $1 million right now? And the answer is that I don't think that that's a thing. I mean, yes, it can happen, but the things that work are things that never stopped working to begin with because they're just so base and sensible.
Yeah.
So like the idea of, and the things I'm going to say are intentionally, right? So people are going to be like, okay, that's,
Yeah.
but like, people don't act as if it's true. So write the best book you can, connect with readers individually, respond to your email and treat people like humans, develop and sell your book for like something that makes sense in your business, in the scheme of business, that is a profitable model rather than like just whatever I can get. And those things sound so 101, but it's not the way people behave. Like people behave with, I'm going to price it as low as possible. I'm going to work on volume. I'm going to play into like the Kindle Unlimited, even though I'm not maybe naturally a fast producer, I'm going to produce as fast as I can so that I can write algorithms. And if that works for you, then great. But I think people think that that's what you need to do tactically. And I need to optimize and make keywords. And those things can be important depending on where you are and how you operate. But it's like, I think it's much more for me, and the same things that I see in common with long-term successes, people who don't burn out and go away, is they haven't forgotten what's at the core. And it's more about unlearning the things that are tactical or that may not work forever or may not work at all. And instead focusing on, well, are you treating your readers like people? Yes, you may be a Facebook ads ninja, but when somebody emails you, do you reply a human being? Right. Or do you just say, thanks for reading, or not reply at all, which I really hate? But that's my advice, is simplify it.
Simplify it. Make sure that and I think the love of the craft needs to be remembered, because I think there was a span of time when I very first started writing, and I'm going to move this again, where the right to market, write as quick as you can, rapid release was like the thing. And a lot of people were like, I need to have 4 books out. I need to have 6 books out. Yeah. And so then they're sort of just churning things out, and they sort of lost that love that they're having for their story, 100%. For their characters. And you can, and I'm not dissing anybody. I am not a fast writer. And I look at people that are fast writers that still like, they can just do it. But that's just their writing process. Like, I'm a little envious of that, because I would love to just be able to like get the words out of my body, just get them on the page. But at the same time, I'm like careful with every sentence. I'm like really thinking about all of my process. And I think there was a big trend where that was like actually being told, like, don't do that. Don't follow your process. That is the best for you to bring out the best.
Stop
pairing and just put it on the paper. Exactly. And so I think that, knowing what your process is and honoring it, that's one of the things that with Becca Syme, we've had her on the podcast a couple of times, and she's like, you aren't the other people. All people are different people, and it's okay to like slow down, to do it your process the way that your process is. And you're probably a pretty quick writer, right? When you're ready to.
Yes. And I want to answer your question or your implied question, but like we wrote a book called Write, Publish, Repeat. And so people are like, so you aren't a fan of rapid release, but you wrote a book called Write, Publish, Repeat. No, the message of Write, Publish, Repeat was and persist. And yes, you will tend to sell more with more books in your catalog. That's just how math works. However, I don't believe in taking it to the logical extreme or the illogical extreme of let's do it so that let's play the algorithms. Let's satisfy the algorithms rather than the individual people. So what was the core question that I'll go back to?
Like rapid release and like how that could impact people that are
you're not the same. Yeah. So when we were on the self-publishing podcast, it was really common for people to say, okay, so how many words a day do you write? How many words should be in a sequel? How many sections should be in a sequel? And they were all things that were subjective. They were all things that, well, it depends. Like there's no, how many words should be in a sequel? I'm sorry, that's an asimine question. That doesn't make any sense. It should, as many there are. There should. Yes, exactly. It's like, it reminds me of the scene in Amadeus where Jeffrey is the king or whatever. And he's like, too many notes. Well, what does that mean? Too many notes, too many words. So it's very natural to be like, I want to figure this out. This is me speaking from the perspective of somebody trying to learn anything. It's natural to think that. And so can you please give me a concrete answer? Because it depends is not helpful. Depends. And I was sitting in with a set Dave Shearer talking about Facebook ads, and he was talking about his customer acquisition cost, and he threw out, cost me $22 to acquire a new customer. So for the recession, okay, so that $22 is that, and he's like, I just want to keep saying that's my number. That is not going to be your number.
Right.
But that is so natural
Yeah,
So-
it is. Like, give me the benchmark.
Right.
What's the
Give me
benchmark?
something. And I get it. Like I'm
Yeah.
always, I want to know those numbers too, but not as a prescription, more like so that I can calibrate. So anyway, to get to your main point, that idea, I mean, I think back is great. So like, I totally get that. You should work the way that you work. And unless somebody is in the exact same place as you, like the exact same readers, the exact same catalog, the exact same style of writing, and you both want to go to the exact same place, there's no people line up like that.
Yeah.
Then you can't follow somebody else's advice verbatim. You
Right.
can't do that. So there is a lot of like what I talk book is like look for a map, look for a compass. So if you know how to use a compass, then you understand the principles and you can say, okay, well, okay, I know where I am. I know where north is. I understand the principle of how to read this compass. I can figure out where I want to go rather than here's a map that somebody else drew that like, I don't know where I am on the map. And I know they started here and I'm supposed to go forward and go left. I'm over here, but I think I'm going to go forward and go left too. And I realized I just said right. Left is that.
Yeah, it looks funny.
Yeah. And it's like, no, you have to try. It's a really long answer to your question.
It's a great answer to the question.
Jackson.
We actually have some questions for you in the chat
Johnny.
for Johnny.
They were like, where's Jack?
Where's Jack?
Why isn't Jack here?
Okay, what is artisan writing that Jack mentioned, or maybe it was Sean?
Artist and author. Author. Bye.
He's so into attention, this guy. What?
Yeah.
Like, so anyway, I think you're the interviewer.
I am. Yeah.
Okay.
I thought you were interviewing me. I thought I was the guest now. I thought
I'm
that's
waiting
how it
for
worked.
the question. All good.
No, I was talking about the artisan author because Sean was here. He was sitting.
Yeah.
He's sitting right out here off camera, but he was sitting
Yeah.
right here, and I had to take the opportunity to mention you while he was on to
Of course.
the
As it should.
competitive thing. You know what I mean?
As it should be.
But mentioning the artisan author, just how like that, like we've been talking about connecting with readers and the idea of the artisan author. I think it's those two ideas gel with each other very well. There's the same kind of seed.
Yeah.
But obviously, it's your baby. It was your Kickstarter, your whole thing. So
Well, I did a book and I did a Kickstarter called The Artisan Author. However, let's be clear that I did not invent artisaning, and I did not. And there are plenty of other people who Joanna's been talking about being an AI-assisted artisan author probably before I started talking about it. So like she's probably like my idea. That's my Joanna impression,
right.
But that said, the idea is basically everything that I was just talking about.
Yeah.
Like you can do it's 1,000 true fans model and an algorithm driven, looking for like trying to connect with individual people and build Kevin Kelly style 1,000 true fans rather than saying, how can I max please the robots at Amazon? And there's a lot more to it, but that's
exactly.
That's basically it.
Right. The robots at Amazon too. That's the thing. And they're here, so let's not speak too loud. But
not speak too loud. We can continue to speak ill of them, but I don't want to hear
you anyway.
Right. I mean, like it's cool to talk ill about people. Just do it behind their
Sure.
That's what I
right.
Robots are always
right. So well, and I think for Amazon has changed so much because it used to be back in the day, and I didn't take full advantage of this. I entered self-publishing around 2012, like released one book and then I released a sequel and I just kind of sputtered out and I should have kept going and who knows where I'd be now. But because I didn't take advantage of things the way they were in the golden age, quote unquote. Not that it truly was, but you could kind of just, what people say is you could just put books on Amazon and people would just find them. And that was all you had to do. That was
2013, you could do that.
That was the hurdle. And then after that, I was like, okay, well, now you need to do some Facebook ads and do that. And then you'll be successful. And now it's like, well, now you got to do Facebook ads and hope that they work. Hope that, Amazon is nice to you. And like, it's just gotten progressively more of a uphill battle and they're pouring, Crisco.
They're making that uphill battle.
Yeah, it seems like right. And that's why we obviously direct sales we introduced before it was even a thing. I've seen the change in that. When we introduced, like I remember when I was first in publishing, the idea that you would sell books through your own website, people like no.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? Like this indie thing is like this is the way we're gonna do it.
Yeah.
And now then it became like, oh well, directs that's actually kind of interesting. Selling my books myself through actually I can see that.
Yeah.
And then now you're selling people books in parking lots and
I did do a parking lot deal. I did do kind of a like, do you want some books sort of thing. That was, I think was, I think it was 14 books. I think I told that story.
Yeah, on the podcast. You guys should go watch that on the YouTube channel.
Yeah.
But the industry just seems to be going that way. There's lots of pressures that I think are pushing authors to this, like, you need to connect with readers, you need to be a human being and connect with other human beings. And that's how you're going to be.
Well, just do the math, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know how many new books are produced a day now, but it's a lot. And let's just remove the most extreme end of the AI spectrum from that and just talk about people producing them by hand. But just know that it's so much more with AI books. You do that math and you think about how many books are out there is how many there were at the beginning when it was, you could show up almost by default because there just wasn't a lot of competition. And then you could get a little boost, but there were still fewer people. Now that there's so many people, I mean, I'm not telling anyone what to do, but if you think of like maximally trying to please that algorithm, whatever. So let's say you're in the top 1% of people who optimizes keywords and categories and all the metadata, all the stuff, like you have the perfect ads and you're in the top 1%. How big is the top 1%? Right. It's enormous. Like the only commodity, and this sounds trite. I get that this sounds trite. The only thing that people can't replace is you.
Yeah.
So I want to create fans of me. I want to have that 1,000 true fans connection, because if I have that, they're going in looking for me rather than going in looking for a book. And I hope that my book, like, I wrote a psychological thriller, but nobody knows who I am. So I have to try to appear in searches for psychological. I have to be at the top. Like, no, that's just not going to happen for all but like this smallest percentage of people.
Right.
But this is the antidote to that. This is a one by one, very like sensible. This could have been done. It was done before the internet. You know, this is like one by one. Let's make real fans of me. They go in looking for my next book, and all I need to do is let them know that it's available.
Right.
I don't have to sell them.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Chris asks, what is the title of Johnny's book about artists and authors?
Okay, so Chris, the title of my book about artists and authors, get your pen ready, okay? It's The Artist and Author.
Yes.
So you're good.
He's got it.
JohnnyBTruant.com/artist.
Yeah.
You'll see it. Yeah.
Excellent. Great to have you here. We're going to wrap things up on BookFunnel Live so you can say goodbye to everybody. But yeah.
Adios.
You should have an S on next time.
We might go live again tomorrow.
Maybe.
Let's just see. We'll play it by ear.
Yeah.
Thank you, folks, for joining us for BookFunnel Live and tuning in here while we're here at Author Nation. It's been a blast so far. We got to get back to everything here, but thank you. Hopefully, we gave you a little bit of a taste of what Author Nation is like. Yeah. Maybe one of these days, if it's in the cards for you, you can join us. Come see us in person next year. If not here, at other conferences, there might be one closer to you. Thank you all for joining us today. I'll see you all in the next one. Yeah. Bye-bye. Have a good one.
Thank you for watching. Check out these other videos from BookFunnel, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel.